At the beginning of the film, Walter Moreland offers Tom a job. Here, Tom must use his extraordinary intelligence to open a vault that contains some extremely important and valuable items Walter needs. However, opening this vault is not easy at all. It is a remarkable feat of engineering, and no one has been able to open it in the last 80 years. Walter is a wealthy businessman who, a few months earlier, was transporting some antique artifacts to Spain. On the way, Spanish customs seized all of his artifacts. Among them were the most important items, because a treasure's coordinates were engraved on them. Since he did not receive permission, the Spanish authorities took possession of all the valuable items, and now that treasure is locked inside a Spanish bank vault. Tom meets Lorena, who is Walter's adopted daughter. Lorena can act as any character required by the situation. The third member is Klaus, a hacker who can hack anything for the team. The fourth member is James, Walter's right-hand man. James is a soldier and an expert in combat. The final member is Simon, who is responsible for the team's logistics and equipment. This team faces a major problem. They need to hack the bank's system, but to do so they require a specific code. Here, Tom comes to their aid. Tom suggests a very simple solution. He says they should call any bank employee and speak in a way that makes it sound like an automated call. During the conversation, they will obtain the code they need. Using the solution they had discussed, they manage to obtain the code. Since everything goes according to plan, everyone is very happy. After that, they begin carefully studying the bank and Spain's internal security operations. They learn that the building is one of the strongest and most secure structures in the world. Cameras and sensors are installed throughout the entire building. The guards are specially trained to react immediately to any alarming situation. The biggest problem is that the Spanish Army headquarters is located directly in front of the bank. If an alarm is triggered, around 500 soldiers can enter the bank within a very short time. Moreover, the bank's security chief is himself the commander-in-chief of Spain's counterterrorism unit. The team does not have much information about the vault. To understand its internal structure, they must scan it. All they know is that opening the vault requires the fingerprints of two people standing side by side. They then create an operation plan. Thomas and Simon enter the bank disguised as generator technicians, while Lorena poses as an insurance agent for the famous paintings and meets with the security officer. The keys to the vault are kept in the same room where these paintings are stored. When Lorena is heading to that room, she creates a situation where she has to shake hands with the bank director. She asks the director to hold the coffee glass she is carrying. In this way, they obtain the security chief's fingerprint. Meanwhile, inside the bank, Klaus begins his work. He tracks the bank's security cameras and makes everything appear normal. He records the footage taken while scanning the vault and the paintings, creates a loop from it, and plays it on the screens at 10 times speed. This makes it seem as if nothing unusual is happening inside. During this time, Lorena prepares her equipment and makes a copy of the vault key. At that exact moment, the bank director enters the room. Lorena has only 20 seconds. Before the system finishes being hacked, she needs to be in the correct position for the video recording, so she asks the director to take a photo while the painting is being scanned. She asks him to step back slightly while taking the picture so that she herself does not appear in the frame. Lorena still has one more painting left to scan, but just then a problem arises. Tom's task is to scan the entire structure of the vault. To do this, he goes to the lower floor, where there is a conference room directly beneath the vault. Tom enters the meeting room, hides under the table, and turns on his magnetometer to begin scanning. Unfortunately, at that very moment, several people enter the room for a meeting. Tom becomes trapped there, and his device suddenly shuts down after reaching 96%. After a brief fluctuation, it quickly turns back on. However, this process ends up triggering the bank's alarm. The entire bank immediately goes into lockdown, and the Spanish army enters the building. Fortunately, by that time, Lorena has already scanned the second key. Just then, the bank director comes to escort Lorena out. In the rush, Lorena forgets to return the stolen keys to their original place. The team then decides that Lorena should leave with the director. Lorena goes with him and is about to place the keys in the safe and lock it when she informs the team that someone is approaching her. At that moment, an incredible idea comes to Tom's mind. When the guard enters the room, Tom removes his earphones and pretends that he never heard the alarm. In this way, he avoids being caught. After the operation ends, they all analyze the scan of the vault's internal structure. The scan reveals a massive reservoir inside the vault. Tom realizes that it is actually filled with water. He explains to everyone that the vault has been designed with incredible precision and efficiency. If, while opening the vault, there is any change in weight or balance, water will immediately begin flooding into the vault. Now the team finally understands how the vault's mechanism truly works. The vault's weight must remain constant at all times, so Thomas begins working on a solution to this problem. Meanwhile, Simon and James inspect the area beneath the bank and confirm that Tom was absolutely right. There is indeed a massive water tank below, and its current balance is zero, which must be maintained under all circumstances. Then another major problem emerges, one that could shut down the entire operation. The walls surrounding the vault and the underground area are extremely strong. The outer layer is made of reinforced concrete. Breaking through this layer would take at least 15 days. No matter how advanced the equipment is, they simply cannot afford to spend that much time. At this point, there seems to be no other option. Everyone decides to give up. Just then, Walter goes to the square to take a short break and watches the crowd of football fans. Suddenly, an idea strikes him. As soon as the football final match begins, all the bank's cameras facing the square will focus in that direction. This means they no longer need to enter through the underground. They can access the bank from above instead. Walter immediately shares this idea with everyone and asks them to modify the plan accordingly. A new sense of excitement spreads throughout the team. However, now everything depends on just one thing: how they will deal with the vault's mechanism. They had to come up with a solution to this problem. One day when Lorena had liquid nitrogen in her hands, Tom suddenly gets an idea. He places a glass filled with water on a machine that measures small weights. Then he removes the glass, sprays liquid nitrogen on the machine, and places the glass back on it. Since the entire setup has frozen, it becomes as hard as steel. At that moment, they realize they just need a large quantity of liquid nitrogen. That night, everyone celebrates together. The next day, as soon as the final match between the Netherlands and Spain begins, they set out to execute their plan. They have only 105 minutes to complete the entire operation. They reach the roof of the European bank and then cut through the glass to enter. Navigating through approximately 100 meters of piping, they finally arrive at the vault room. To move forward, they use a portable ladder. Finally, they stand in front of the vault. Using the pre-made fingerprint chip and the 2 necessary keys, they open the vault. Now it's Simon's turn. He begins spraying the vault with liquid nitrogen to freeze it. After spraying all the nitrogen, the freezing process is complete. Then they enter the vault and start retrieving the coins and all the other valuable items. At that moment, a patrolling guard notices the broken glass. He immediately alerts the security chief, and the entire team rushes straight toward the vault room. Lorena manages to grab the coins, but at that very moment, James points a gun at her and demands that she hand the coins over. In reality, James is an undercover agent who intends to steal the coins for his own country. Tom tells Lorena to give the coins to James. At that instant, the vault's mechanism activates. Because the weight balance is disrupted, water begins flooding into the vault with great force. Lorena, Thomas, and Simon are all trapped inside. James, being a soldier and an expert driver, manages to escape with the coins. The water in the vault rises rapidly, and the remaining team members can do nothing to stop it. Tom then tells Simon to add more weight on top of the vault. Simon places all the liquid nitrogen cylinders onto the weighing machine. Still, the weight is slightly insufficient. Suddenly, Simon notices a radio lying nearby. He places the radio on the scale, and the trick works. The water inside the vault gradually starts draining out. Meanwhile, the security chief and his team enter the vault room but find no one inside. Thomas and Lorena escape through the drainage line and emerge on the upper floor. Soldiers chase after them. Then Lorena remembers the bank director's room, where a window is always open. They escape the bank through that window. Once in the square, they remove their jackets and blend into the crowd. The soldiers are still pursuing them. At that moment, Tom confesses his feelings, and Lorena reciprocates. In the end, they share a kiss. At that exact moment, Spain wins the match, and the entire crowd goes wild. Amidst the chaos, the soldiers are unable to move properly, allowing Tom and Lorena to escape easily. Later, when the coordinates of the coins are checked, the location shows underneath the Eiffel Tower. Everyone realizes that something went wrong. In fact, Bolton had altered the coordinates. Meanwhile, Walter and his team are relaxing at a resort. When they check the coin coordinates, the location now shows the Bank of London in Europe. This means their next target is the Bank of London. Finally, we see Lorena again. She changes her appearance and enters the Bank of London, and that's exactly where the movie ends.